Moriore Te whānau, what's going on? It's just me today, Te whānau. Just me, so let's roll the intro real quick. I'm just going to copy and paste it from another video. Moriore Te whānau, welcome into the practice run, your frontline pass to the heart of sports action. Brought to you by 99 Dreams, inspiring others to chase their dreams. With your host, Rawiri, Tukoerangi, and sometimes the brother Vincent, we're diving deep into the thrilling world of the NRL and rugby league today, and who knows where the game will take us tomorrow. From the try line to the sideline, we've got you covered.
So strap in as we tackle the big plays, the game-changing moments, and the stories that define legends. Whether you're a seasoned vet or this is your first hit-up, the practice run is for everyone. Every run, every tackle, every win, experience the rush with us.
With exclusive insights, couch analysis, and a touch of humour, the practice run is here to keep you entertained, informed, and part of our practice squad. Because here, every practice run takes us one step closer to glory.
The Practice Squad, where every listener is MVP, powering our play every episode, every day. We'll also give a shout out to our sponsors, 99 Dreams, for powering our passion. Now let's kick things off with today's lineup.
What's good? Welcome back. Look, so today's show, probably going to be a bit compact, bit short. I'll probably forget a lot of things like I did on the last one. But it's real hard not doing it with anyone. So there's not really anyone to bounce off of. No paper, scissors, rock today, but if you're playing at home, let's do it anyway. Play along with me. You know the rules. It's just general paper, scissors, rock. 1, 2, 3, shoot. And you pull whatever item you're going to go for, whether it be a paper, a scissors, or a rock. So let's go, Theory. 3, 2, 1, shoot. I went scissors. If you're watching the YouTube video, I pulled scissors when I did the demonstration. I hit scissors again. It's just what it is. That's what I need to pull up. The NRL draw from over the weekend, so I can make sure I pull up all the teams. So we're going to go through all the games from the weekend, touch on some news that just dropped yesterday. I think it was confirmed now that Wayne Bennett is going to the Bunnies. I mean, that was not really a well-kept secret. I feel like everyone knew that he was going to go there. It was just a matter of time. However, it has come to light. The Parramatta Eels are releasing Brad Arthur as soon as yesterday, Monday. He's being released from the club, and it has come to light that the club was pursuing Wayne Bennett, but according to this one report that I read, I think it was from NRL 9, that he turned them down because he has a history with Souths and he feels like there is unfinished business there. So he will be returning to Souths. It's all but confirmed. But who knows? We thought the same for David Feeder going to the Roosters. Sorry, not back to. But anyway, let's go over the Magic Round. It was a huge round, but before we do get there, I forgot. That's right, I did forget one big game that was on last week. Was the State of Origin. The Women's State of Origin, New South Wales took on the Queensland Maroons 22-12, and I heard it was an amazing game. I can't lie, I didn't actually watch it. I didn't realise it was on. So, yeah, I'm actually pretty disappointed that we missed that because, yeah, it was pretty highly talked about as one of the best games of footy that people have seen in a long time. I did read an article saying that one thing that was different in this game is that you don't see the women just laying on the ground waiting for a call. They just get back up and play the ball, which is vastly different to the men's game. A little slap to the face and they're screaming out like they've been almost murdered. So, yeah, vastly different. But we'll be looking forward to watching the next game. I'm pretty sure, hopefully this year, they have 3 games, because I know last year it was controversial. They only had 2 games, and whoever wins the first wins the whole tournament pretty much. But yes, there is 3 games this year, which is good, because now you can actually say we're the better team. So they took the early lead in this series. There's heaps of debates over who should be dropped and who should be retained, and it's great because there hasn't actually been any women's games so far this season. The women's season hasn't kicked off just yet, but rest assured, we will be covering that in the near future. Their next game is, let me take a quick look. The next game is June 6th, and I think that's the same night or the same week as, so it's Thursday night. Maybe that's why I didn't see it, because I was watching Planet of the Apes. That's what I got up to last week. I was watching Planet of the Apes on Thursday because there was no Thursday night footy, so freed up my evening. But we will be covering NRLW once the season kicks off. We might even do a special review on preview episode where we just spend X amount of hours just diving into the top teams and all the players and who we think might be able to compete, and whether or not Viets and Newcastle will be retaining the championship this year. So stay tuned, whānau. We will be covering that, and we do apologise that we did miss that last week. We had a whole bunch of other things going on last week, so yeah, please do forgive us for that one. And wahine mā, we will be covering you guys, especially when you're putting on performances like that. Over to the Magic Round. Okay, so we kicked off Friday night. Tukuirangi's Bulldogs took on the Canberra Raiders, and unfortunately, they fell to the Canberra Raiders in a very hard-fought battle. The Raiders got out to an early lead, and they, from the outset, looked like the better team on the field. 2 errors seen, I think it was Jordan Rapana go off, and was Isaiah Papali'i go off late in the first half, so late in the first half, and that's when the Bulldogs scored their 20 points. And then once Rapana come back on, the point scoring slowed down, and when Isaiah Papali'i, what's the other Papali'i from Raiders called? Not Isaiah, Josh Papali'i. So when Josh Papali'i come back from the sin bin, Raiders pounced back and got on the chalk to take out the game. I had the Bulldogs winning. I thought they were, reaching some strong form, but I guess all those big games, back-to-back tough efforts, week in and week out, have started to show. The Bulldogs looked a little bit tired out there. They look exhausted, like they've been running a marathon. So, yeah. So we'll be looking forward to how the Bulldogs get on in the near future, especially if they continue to play the way they did on Friday, which isn't a good sign. It looks like the wheels may be falling off for them, but again, too early to tell. It's only one game. And yes, I know the Raiders have been struggling, but it looks like things may be turning around for the Raiders. Like, there's just, a lot of inexperience a few weeks ago. Now they've got up on a back, so they've got someone to kind of steady the ship at fullback there, as well as Ethan Strange coming into his own. He really looks like he's starting to pick up a head of steam. I've got him as one of the front runners for Rookie of the Year this year, Ethan Strange. Just a green machine, proving once and for all that they, are a team to be reckoned with. However, I did hypothesize after the fact, and also too told me that they haven't beaten the Raiders in like 8 games that they've played against them, which would have been a helpful statistic to know before I put my multi on. But also the fact that when the Bulldogs beat the Roosters a few weeks ago, that was for the 2014. They wore their heritage jersey, and all the 2014 showed up. It was the anniversary of the 1914 for the Canberra Raiders, so all of those old boys showed up. So there's a little bit something extra to play for when, the club legends show up, the guys that you grew up watching, or maybe, their parents talk about. I know a lot of the people here in Aotearoa who are Canberra Raiders fans are because of that 94 team, the likes of Mel Meninga, Ricky Stewart, Laurie Daly, Ruben Wiki, those guys that are just club legends over there in Canberra. So they managed to get up over the Bulldogs in a tightly contested battle, only because of the 2 yellow cards, 10 in the bin. Had they not have been benched, it could have got ugly really fast, and I could see the Raiders, running away with it. So that was my thoughts on that game. Those are my takeaways from those games. Heading over now to Suncorp. Well, they're all Suncorp Stadium, sorry. Heading over now to the second game on Friday night, the Manly Sea Eagles taking on the Brisbane Broncos. This game was quite evenly contested. I don't know what it was about this match. Neither team could really get running, get out running. It was a slow start from Brisbane, and an even, slower start from the Sea Eagles. Like we got out with 2 tries early, but that was it. We struggled, and then in the second half, Manly came back, and which was uncharacteristic of Manly of late. We used to see Manly run out with the lead early and then lose it. So they managed to sort of claw it back in the end, but a field goal from Jock Madden in the 75th minute all but sealed the fate of the Manly Sea Eagles. It's good to know, though, that Jock Madden is comfortable to step up and take those big-time kicks. We definitely need that going forward, and I read an article that he actually gets out there and does extra kicking practice at night under the lights, so he's trying his best to prepare for life after Adam Reynolds, and he will be in that 7 jersey for the better half of the season whilst Reynolds recovers from his injury. The Taniela Paseka sin bin didn't help the Sea Eagles' cause at all, because straight after he was sin bin, Dean manages to just dot one down in the corner over there, who's been on a try-scoring rampage at the moment. In at centre to replace the injured Reece Walsh was Josiah Karapani. He's someone who could use a little bit more experience in the game. Let him just develop a bit more and get better. So wasn't too bad of a performance, but nothing great. Same with Blake Moser. It was a lot of hype around him jumping in the team. He looked good. But yeah, there's a lot to be learned. He made a few errors. I think same thing that Reece does. They try to force their hand a little too early, too soon. Plays too many cards instead of playing the hand in front of him. But, that's youth. And he's just trying to get something started, especially, we didn't score any tries after the 11th minute. So you've got to give him full props for, at least getting up there and attempting to get something going. Xavier Willison had another big game. He's really sort of forcing himself to get a nod to start. I think Kevy probably wait until next year to get him starting next to Payne Haas, but man, he's ready. I think he's definitely ready for full time in the NRL. Once he's starting, it'll be Payne Haas and Xavier Willison starting props. And then I think on the bench we'll start to see the likes of Ben Te next season. But again, he has a fractured foot, I think it was, and he won't be in for a little while. What was the downfall for the Sea Eagles? I think it was just overall just a tightly contested match. It was errors and just the inability to get attacking plays going. The defense on both sides shut things down. It was just, really tightly contested match, and you can't commend teams enough for the effort that they put in. But that was 12-13 final score to the Broncos, which we luckily escaped with the win there. Over to Saturday, Super Saturday, and it lived up to its name. Quite a few big games that day with, not big name teams, but man, they've given a lot of effort. I feel like every team now, it seems, just based off of this weekend, has that next man up mentality. With this Gold Coast Titans team, we talked about it in last Thursday's podcast. Too many injuries. We just think it might be a blowout. I even had this being the lowest scoring game because I thought, both teams aren't quite that great offensively, but oh boy, was I wrong. Newcastle Knights held on and they weathered the Titans comeback. The Titans did try and make a comeback in that second half to steal it from the the Knights came back in the second half and stole it from the Titans. So, so this is what happens when you're doing it by yourself. Make some mistakes, but it's the same thing applies. Titans surprisingly got out ahead early, and the Knights fought and clawed their way back. It was a full-blown second half attack from the Knights to come back, and that started with David Armstrong, who led well for the Knights in the first half, scoring both of their tries. The sin binning of Aaron Schopp and Jackson Hastings in the 30th minute sort of evened the field for both teams, but full props to the Knights, to go 3 unanswered tries and come back and steal the game when it looked, almost dead in the waters. 24-10, you're down against a depleted Titans side. Where do you find the encouragement to step up and move forward? Well, Adam O'Brien provided that in the sheds, getting his team to turn it around, and David Armstrong had a game. If Kalen Ponga can't stay at the Knights because of that controversy, I don't have any more information about that. It's still just hearsay at this point. I will be interested to see, whether or not the Knights actually... Well, I mean, they would. He's Dally material, and he's a phenomenal player, but you've got the likes of David Armstrong, who's just as good back there, and, if you would rather let a player go than to receive any penalties as a club, I don't think you'd be too hard done by. Keanu Kinney, I thought, had a great game. Rufiana Khan Pereira had a great game, scoring 2 tries. All in all, I thought that was a solid game from the Knights. They really showed a lot of resolve. I don't think the Knights of the earlier half of the season would have been able to claw back and come back in that game, and Titans would have ended up with the win again. Hats off to the Titans. They've found a way to turn that season around. Yes, it's not showing up on the NRL ladder as wins, be it close games or blowouts, but the Titans have actually turned their season around. I was early in on them saying, nah, I've got no hope. They're probably going to grab the wooden spoon this season, to now saying, well, they're not going to get the wooden spoon, but they might be a fringe player to maybe be on the cusp of the bottom half of the top 8. So you never know, Titans fans. The teams turn things around, and shout out Des Hasler and David Fafita, who I'm assuming lead the way a lot of the time in that locker room. But that's that game. Over to the second game. And this was a game that I thought was phenomenal. So Sharks took on the Roosters. Everyone had the Roosters. Everyone was saying the Roosters are too good. The Roosters have been, a formidable team these past few weeks. And, they're right. The Roosters have been a formidable team. But Nico Hines and his Sharks are flying. I don't know what it is. And they just keep building this momentum. We said we're unsure about the Sharks. This is probably the hardest part of their draw at the moment, going through Melbourne, Sydney. I think they've got Penrith coming up. Do they have Penrith coming up? They've got... one moment. Yeah, they do have Penrith this week, so this is their hard part of the draw, and so far they've got 2 wins. 2 wins they've picked up against Melbourne, and now they've picked up against the Roosters. And, yes, the Suali'i Simbin didn't help the Roosters at all, because once he went off, within that 10 minutes, Sione Katoa went over. But it didn't really matter because they still kept scoring once he came back. And look, the way these Sharks are building momentum, do they look like a premiership team? Maybe. Does Nico Hines look like a Dally M player this season? Yeah, I'll give it to him. He deserves to earn a lot of the MVP points that he's getting. And, another performance like this just shows you why he is that guy. There was doubts about whether or not he'd be playing, and I think after another performance like that, he's all but sewn up that 7 jersey. However, what's his name? Cartwright, one of the coaches within the selectors committee for New South Wales, has said that it's not certain, and Mitchell Moses still has to play. Well, if he plays this week, apparently he's in on that 7 jersey. I think Nico deserves it. He at least deserves a chance to show why. I mean, there's 3 games. Let him have this one game. If he underperforms, so be it. But he played, one game, 10 minutes at centre. He's not a centre. That was just poor coaching, poor selection choice by that particular coach. So, Madge, you know what you're doing. You turn the Kiwis around, and I'm sure you'll turn the Blues around, and I think you'll select the best players available for each position, and Nico Hines is that best available player. So, yeah. Sharks took out the Roosters 38-30. What a real good game, and I love any team that beats the Roosters. To the final game of the night, I was in bed by this point because I played darts that day. It was a long day. We started at 9 a.m. and, when it comes to darts, you drink and you throw. So I was well wrapped up in bed by now. However, I heard, did this go to overtime? No. It looks like it went the normal distance. Perfect. So, yeah, it says here the 4 tries, Latrell, Johnston, Walker, and Cook. Johnston back on the try-scoring board, trying to get that all-time record done. Viliami Valea was the one who opened the try-scoring of the day for the Cowboys, followed up by Tom Dearden, who should take that 6 jersey now with Cam Munster out for potentially the season, but at least until the finals with another groin injury that he did in the game on Sunday. So sad to see, but these talks between Tom Dearden, Ezra Mam. I think Dearden's your guy to go with. Ezra, a great player, Brisbane Bronco guy. I'm a New South Wales fan. I'd say pick Ezra because look what happened against the Broncos in the grand final. He scored 3 tries, but 3 tries got let in. And if it's DCE, well, maybe you could get Ezra to work. But I think, Dearden defensively is probably your best bet. In Origin, it's always an arm wrestle, and you want the best defensive players out there. However, Ezra Mam, he's always known to rise to the occasion. Devil's advocate, right? I could play both sides. I don't know who I'd like to see. I'd probably like to see Ezra just because, Bronco guy. But, yeah, that's just my thoughts on that there. But, yeah. Good to see Bunnies not winning another game, and they do have a new coach on the way next season, which will be a huge sigh of relief to Bunnies fans, just knowing that they should have a new coach at some point. But it's also, tough that they're going through this period with a lot of players missing. But who knows what will happen or what they can do to turn the Rabbitohs season around. All we know is that it's looking bleak, and it doesn't look like there's any signs of slowing down next week because the Bunnies take on, you never know. You never know, actually. The Bunnies are taking on Parramatta Eels, who have also been struggling. And with a new coach on the way, you never know. So, tune in for that one, Fano. That might be your upset of the round. I don't know if it'll be called an upset, but yeah, keep an eye on that one. That wraps up Super Saturday. Over to Sunday's games, we've got the Warriors, who absolutely shocked and surprised everyone. They won 22-20 over the Penrith Panthers. And now, I'll get into the game, but let me just say this. The NRL is fans are trying to push the envelopes so that the NRL will consider bringing a Magic Round potentially after 2027 to New Zealand. They loved the way the Warriors fans packed out Suncorp. They were in the rafters and they were just singing, chanting, they were cheering. They absolutely packed out every bar. throughout that entire weekend. You've seen it on TikTok, Instagram. There's just, Warriors fans everywhere. And, the team, as shaky as it is from time to time, the fans never give in. They never give up. And just like I said in the last week, the bus stop was getting there for me. But I was persevering with you guys on the bandwagon. I'm still not 100% convinced, but I'm still glad to be on the bandwagon. I'm glad that you guys are still pumping the Panthers. That means they've got 3 losses this season, 1 to Melbourne, 1 to Manly, and then the last one, or the most recent one, to the Warriors. And I'll tell you, 4, I think, standout players from this game, in my opinion. The obvious ones was Tamari Martin at 7, Chance Nickel Clock start at 6, Tane Tuopiki at fullback, and then my Smokey, who I thought had an actual, like a redemption game, I think. I think he's really putting forward a case to, this seat keeps one now, but really putting a case forward to say that don't overlook me anymore. I'm tired of being overlooked. I'm tired of him playing in reserve grade. I've been biding my time, but I'm back. And that was Adam Pompey. At the start of the year, we were quite critical of him just because of his defense, but he's turned things around. I don't try to sound like, a wishy-washy kind of, I guess, media person, but I like the intensity he's played with this weekend. Or maybe the past 2 weekends, actually. He's been quite good on defense for once. It makes a few mistakes, but takes time playing with a new group of guys again. I think once Roger comes back, and this again is my own opinion, is put Pompey in centre, Rog on the wing. Who knows? Give that a go for a bit. I like Tuopiki, and I think his best fit is in first grade, but obviously he's got to play behind Chance as well as Roger now, so he's 3rd pick. But I think he still gets picked 2nd anyway, so maybe he is 2nd choice fullback, and then Roger is 3rd, because they're trying to develop Roger as a centre. But yeah, look, Tuopiki, I think, will get picked up within the next year or two, or whenever his contract comes up. Let's see if I can find his contract. Tuopiki contract. Let's see. Okay, let's have a look. So on Zero Tackle, Tane Tuopiki's contract is for this year and next year, which means at the end of the year he can start talking to other teams. I think Canberra Raiders might be a good fit for him. Take Chance's old spot in that green 1 jersey, because I don't know how much longer Jordan Rapon is going to be there for. Who else is in need of a fullback? Let's see. Hold on, let me just go through teams real quick. NRL teams. Who else is in need of a fullback? South Sydney. If you know, you know. I don't know. The Bulldogs look pretty set. Cowboys are definitely set. Tigers are set. Storm are definitely set. Far longer. Whoa, weesh. Seagulls, nah. Roosters, maybe. But I don't think they'll pick up Tuopiki. I don't think he's their kind of player. Sharks and Panthers are pretty set. Like I said, Rabbitohs. Eels still have Gutho, but they should keep Blaze Talangi instead. Titans have got plenty of fullback. Broncos obviously have Reese. Warriors, Dolphins are sorted. So yeah, maybe Raiders, maybe Bulldogs-ish if they figure out what they're up to. Dragons could probably use a new player, but not if he's only a fullback. But yeah, look, Tuopiki, great player. I would have had him in Team of the Week this week if it wasn't for Armstrong. Tuopiki played phenomenally. It's good to see. And, these younger Warriors players, or all the ones that came up through reserve grade, they're hungrier. They want it more than some of the main guys that are playing first grade. Webster, don't overlook these young blokes. They really want to give in and give it their all. They love the fans. They love the Warriors. You can tell they play for a lot of pride and passion for their jersey. It was Dylan Waltini-Zelezniak's 200th game. Laban had a great game, I thought. Eden had a good game as always, leading from the front. So, yeah. It was a great game, up and down. There was lots of, what do you call it? The momentum, the pendulum of the momentum swung so quickly from side to side. The Warriors clawed back. There was that sin-binning of Isaiah Yeo in the 42nd minute, which helped the Warriors turn things around. Like Ali Leatua scored, then Pompey scored, kind of, put the Warriors ahead. Then Yeo scores, and then Tangor scores, and then Tuopiki comes back and scores. And because Tuopiki nailed 3 out of 4 all-conversions to Dylan Edwards' 2. That's what put the Warriors up by 2. And then to ice the game, all the Panthers had to do was to make a penalty shot. Dylan Edwards was awarded a penalty shot because Chancellor Klokstad tried to take a ball strip. It was right out in front, but yeah, he just missed to the right, and boy, those Warriors boys, they really celebrated, and they deserved that win. They'd been on a bit of a rough slump of late, but yeah, look, Panthers, too good of a team not to bounce back this week, so good luck, Sharkies. The next game, Melbourne Storm versus Parramatta Eels. I think this was a really good game. It was really telling of the what's the word? The resolve of Melbourne Storm. Losing Cam Munster. Let me try and figure out when he went off. They lost Cam Munster in the first half. Let's see, maybe he was still there at the 38th minute. And then, yeah, so Cam Munster come off in the 39th minute with a groin injury. So sad to see. And the scans came back yesterday, so he's not back for a long time. And that's just adding to the injury list that this season has had so far. And it's not unlike any other season. It's just, I think, a lot of the bigger names this season are getting injured, whereas last season, you sort of get your bench players getting injured, and a lot of the big name players would be healthy. Nick Meaney almost went 100% on Sunday evening, which was amazing to see. Harry Grant scored a double, which continues his 4 or 5 game scoring streak against Parramatta. Blaze Talangi gets over for another try. Remy Smith bags a double. Elisa Couture gets over the line, and he had a great game as well. I thought he was everywhere on defense and on attack. He's just barnstorming. Definitely a huge loss for the Warriors. They would have hated to have let him go. Was it last year or the year before? But yeah, look, Melbourne just showed so much resolve to go into the Sheds. It was at halftime 16-10 to Melbourne. They were only just up, and then losing Cameron Munster, you're thinking, oh, this is anyone's game. It's probably not going to be too high scoring after this. And then, come out of the Sheds. Harry Grant gets over for his second of the night in the 48th minute. And then Remy Smith bags a double almost 2 minutes apart. Xavier Coates scores, and then Elise Katoa gets over, and then Micah Seville scores one to try and, make the scoreline look not so bad, but it was 48-16, and it had, at one stage, it looked like they could have gone for 70. But yeah, man, I don't know what it is about this Melbourne side. They just know how to get games done. Even with a few mistakes here and there, they still know how to play for one another, and they know how to push the pace and get over the line. So, big game there for Melbourne. It was definitely a statement game for them, losing Munster and still, performing as well as they did. But they have one of the best coaches in the game, so it's no surprise that they would perform this way. And like I said, for Origin, it's either going to be Tom Dearden or Ezra Mam. Now, maybe someone else will put their hand up, but currently, that's the way it stands. Over to the last game. It was the Brisbane Dolphins taking on the Vince's West Tigers in a game that I wasn't too excited to watch, but put myself through it anyway. It was good to see the hammer back. It was definitely good to see the hammer back, and it showed he always scores 2 to 3 tries. I don't think I've watched a game where he's only scored 1 try. Yeah, phenomenal player. Definitely going to be back in State of Origin this season, especially in the centres. Yeah, he's too good of a player not to, and it'll just look good to see him out there. Brent Naden, I think, is a player that may need to go from the Tigers. It's 2 weeks now where he's been ineffective or counterproductive, for the Tigers. He's let in a lot more tries than he has disallowed, which is, it sucks because the Tigers have shown a lot of promise. They've turned things around in a big way. They're just, sort of bonehead errors like that. And it's not just Naden. There's a bunch of other players as well. But those kind of plays don't help keep you in the game, especially against a side like the Dolphins, who are showing this season that they are a quality team, that they're here to, they're not here to fuck spiders. They're here to win big games. Hervey had a slow game, but the rest of the team made up for it, and it was definitely good to have the hammer back. Alvarillo's playing some good footy at the moment for the Dolphins. Mark Nichols, he's looking good out there. Was Max Plath injured? Didn't even notice that. Look, it's going to be interesting to see how the Tigers get on in the future. They've got a few tough games coming up, but there's nothing that they can't do. They've just got to keep showing up for one another and just try and get rid of those small errors out of the game. As for the Dolphins, just keep swimming, I guess. Just keep swimming. I was wrong about you guys, but I did have yous I said all Queensland teams would make the 8 this season. So far, we've got 2 of us in there with the Titans and the Cowboys. Well, the Titans are quite far off, and the Cowboys are swimming somewhere thereabouts. But that's our wrap-up of the NRL Magic Round over in Brisbane. Great game. Great for the game. It just looked like an amazing weekend. I definitely want to get over there maybe next year, me and the brother too. Maybe brother Benjo and whoever else we can scrounge up. We'll get over there and have some fun. That looks like an awesome time. So here at the practice run, we have our team of the week and our power rankings, and we always make up some lie about who's sponsoring them this week. So the practice run's power rankings brought to you by Spotify. No, they're not. This isn't even a paid segment, but we're just trying to, enhance our marketability. So Spotify, this is brought to you by Spotify. Spotify is a place where you can listen to music, podcasts. This podcast, the practice run, just search it on Spotify. But if you're already there listening to us, then we appreciate you. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share this with your friends. If you like this content and you want to hear more, please share it with your friends so we know that we're doing a good job. We do check our stats every week, so we love that we are growing, but please, we do appreciate any support. Just if you have any suggestions, comments, or anything, just comment down below or comment over on our social media pages, which again, I know we always say the same, but we will get there. We will start pumping out all our content. I just need to sit down and dissect all 30 episodes. Oh shucks, it's episode 30 and I'm all here all on my own. That's okay. Sad episode 30. But thanks everyone for joining so far. We're not going to wrap up just yet. We're gonna keep talking footy. We're gonna keep having some fun. But yeah, we just want to say a huge thank you to all those who have supported us from the very beginning, or if this is your first episode, thank you all for joining us so far. If this is your first episode, I'm sorry that you've just got to listen to me. There is more. There are more people that will be on the show. But unfortunately, for now, it's just me. That's okay. Yeah, the show keeps going until it doesn't, but we'll get there. Also, we do have some interviews that we're working on getting. I know we said that we were going to get a concussion expert in. We still will be. I just have to reschedule that date because I was at a funeral that day. We're also close to getting an interview with some NRL players. I'm waiting to hear back from a couple of past NRL players, but yeah, once these are confirmed, then we can share these with you. Obviously, if I'm like, oh man, we got an interview with Sonny Bill coming up, we're just waiting to confirm it, and people go, start sharing it, and Sonny's like, hey, I don't even know who these guys are. No, we're not getting Sonny Bill on the show. I wish. If you know Sonny Bill, tell him. But otherwise, yeah, no Sonny Bill on the show just yet. I say just yet. Maybe, who would be my dream guest? That's a good one. Who would be my dream guest on the show? My number one guest, I think I would really like to have. I'd love to have Matty Johns on the show. Just all those guys, actually. Matty Johns. I'd love to have Willie Mason on the show. I'd love to have Darren Lockyer and maybe I think Wayne Bennett would be pretty cool to have on the show, and yeah, maybe Craig Bellamy as well. Those five I think would be interesting minds to just pick apart and just have a good yarn to, and maybe talk to them not just about footy, but life away from footy, walk them into it, and all those kinds of things. So hey, if you know anyone out there that we could interview on this show, do let us know. We always I love new challenges, because at the moment all we do is just do breakdowns, previews, and a couple of fun games. We will be bringing some fun games back. I know we haven't done too many of them lately. We just have been quite time poor, and I know with his new job, he sleeps a lot less because he's still trying to cram everything else into his day. So do have to be mindful about that. But yeah, look, super thankful for all the support that we've received so far. We truly do appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. So anyway, back to the power rankings, the practice run power rankings, brought to you by Spotify. Not really. All right, where should we start? I mean, the bottom hasn't changed, so let's start at the bottom, right? Coming in at 17th again for most of the season. I think since round 5, they've been locked in at 17th, and that is South Sydney Rabbitohs, followed by Parramatta Eels, West Tigers sitting at 15th. Manly Seagulls dropped from 10th to 14th this week, with the North Queensland Cowboys staying at 13th. The Warriors moving up from 14th to 12th. Now, I'm telling you, it's not a big jump there this week because the Dragons have locked in that 11th space. And so there's other teams that are up ahead that aren't quite moving just yet. Moving up from 12th to 10th are the Canberra Raiders. Down from 6th to 9th this week are the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. Now, yes, you're probably going, well, how come the Raiders, who beat them last week, are still below the Bulldogs? It's because the Bulldogs are coming from 6th and dropping 3 places. The Raiders have jumped 2 spaces up to 10th. So I don't see them going ahead of the Bulldogs just yet. Gold Coast Titans staying at 8th this week after a close game against Newcastle Knights. Newcastle Knights making a big jump from 9th to 7th. Broncos up 1 spot from 7th to 6th. Sydney Roosters down 1 spot this week at 5th. Penrith Panthers down 2 spots after their loss to the Warriors at 4th. Redcliffe Dolphins make a jump 2 spaces into 3rd. Melbourne Storm up from 3rd into 2nd. And the Cronulla Sutherland Sharks retaining that number 1 spot on our power ranking. Now, remember, the power ranking isn't the same as the NRL ladder. This is how your NRL ladder looks. So it's got the Sharks, the Storm, and the Panthers are your 1, 2, and 3. Almost similar to our current power rankings. And then at 4th, you've got the Dolphins. 5th is the Broncos. 6th, 7th, and 8th are the Raiders, Roosters, and Knights. 9th place is the Dragons. 10th, Seagulls. 11th, Bulldogs. 12th, Cowboys. 13th, Warriors. 14th, Eels. 15th, West Tigers. 16th are the Titans. And 17th are the South Sydney Rabbitohs. So, although the Titans don't have many wins, they move up the power rankings just like that. Over now to the practice runs team of the week, and what a team it is. What a team it is, man. All right, let's start. We'll just go 1 through to 13, fullback through to lock. Kicking things off at fullback, we've got David Armstrong from the Newcastle Knights that put up a stunning performance against the Titans, so of course he's got to be in there. On the wing, we've got Jacob Kiraz and Dom Young, and then in our centres, we've got Jesse Ramian and Remy Smith. Our halves look like Ethan Strange and Nico Hines, who's just been dominant lately. Our props, Joey Tarpine and Tom Hazelton, 40-20. This is his second week in a row. No, he had a week off. And then at hooker, we've got Harry Grant. In our second row, we've got Hudson Young and Elise Couture. And then at lock, Mr. Reliable, we've got him back in there after a 2-week break. It's Patrick Carrigan. And so that's our Patrick Carrigan team of the week. No, that is the practice runs team of the week. And that, I think, wraps up the show. I'm trying to think of anything else. I don't think there is anything else. But hey, look, if you want to support the podcast, purchase some of these hats. We don't have many left, but you can capture them on 99dreams.co.nz, our website. We have these. We have a couple of baseball jerseys on there as well. So if you want to go cop one of those, support the team, go ahead and do that. But don't feel like you have to, man. If you want to support us in a non-financial way, just share the potty. Tell your friends about us, or hell, just talk about footy. Because if you just talk about footy, if you talk about the NRL, they'll eventually find the place to go, the home of sports and entertainment. So come on now. Also shout out to the Mavs and the T-Wolves going at it in the Western Conference Finals. Who you got final? I'm not too sure. I think I might go with the Mavs. I think they've had a tougher road to the finals, although the T-Wolves did eliminate the Nuggets, so who knows. But anyway, that's enough of me rambling. I think I've said all I need to say tonight, but I thank you all so much for joining us. Sorry it was just me again. I know I told you we'll have some other guests on, but hey, life happens, and that's just the way it is. We roll with the punches. We keep going. We keep growing. So thank you to everybody who has supported us throughout this whole journey from day 1 to day 101. This has been episode 30, and thank you all for joining us and coming along this wild ride. It's crazy. We just put this in a group chat, and now we're trying to make some dreams come to life. So thank you all so much for supporting us. We really do appreciate each and every one of you, and one day when we find out you guys' names, we'll definitely shout you all out in an episode, because you guys mean so much to us. So no matter whether you're near or far, no matter if you're in the footy or you're just here for a laugh, thank you all so much for joining along. Stay tuned. Tune in again on Thursday for another episode. We will have 2 back on Thursday, and I'm in Christchurch this weekend. So if anyone's in and around Christchurch this weekend, look out for your boy. He will be cruising through the streets of Christchurch, and then we'll be back again next Tuesday with another episode. As always, the practice run ain't going nowhere. We're here every week, 2 episodes a week, just for you guys, and it gives us a reason to watch footy all day, every day. It's becoming a hobby, not a habit. But yeah, thank you all so much for joining us on this episode. To all those near and far, we appreciate your support. And until next time, chair to the chair, and mā te wā.